Welcome back. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about why I'm trying to put my thoughts into words. I've got all these thoughts. There's probably like 100 different thoughts in my brain. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pull out the thought, the first one that I should talk about, and then the second one and the third one. There's so many things I'd like to share with you guys. Let's start with a very important one. Why do I like this business? The money is good, and you can start your own business with about $150. If you go to Craigslist, everybody asks me, where do I buy my machines? Where do I buy the routes from? Because you can buy a route already established. You can buy a route that has 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I actually bought one route for, it had 210 machines working. And that was a good location or a good route. You can start your own business with about $150. And the reason I say that is, look at these machines here on Craigslist. These are found on Craigslist. These machines roughly cost $100 or less, I wouldn't spend more than $100 on a machine that's used. And I don't recommend you buy a brand new machine because they can cost a lot more money. And if you really don't like the business, you're kind of stuck with something you're paying full price for. Start off with a small amount of money. Buy something cheap. If you like the business and if you want to upgrade to a bigger and better and more beautiful machine, do it. But here's another thing that you have to consider. A lot of these machines you're not keeping an eye on. And they are put in places that people don't have any, they don't care about your machine. It's not their, it's not like their child, or it's not like their spouse or something. They don't care about your machine. Not like you do. They may care about it a little bit, but you care about it more than anybody. And they're not going to watch it the way you would watch it. If you had a job where you could put a vending machine, you'd probably keep an eye on it all the time. And if someone was messing with it, you'd be like, hey, what are you doing? You'd be right over there. But the people where you put these machines, they don't care about your machines. And they end up getting stolen, and they end up getting broken, and they end up getting left behind when the business goes under or when they move. And a lot of times they won't even call you. I've had 2 calls since I started this business. And they call me up and they say, well, here's the thing. Before I go into that, I'll tell you what happened. I go to the location, it's gone. The machine's gone, the location is gone, it's closed, the business is closed. There's nothing in the store. It's an empty shell of a building. And I'm like thinking, dang, I lost another machine. And it's really frustrating. And then 2 or 3 or 4 months later, I'll get a phone call and I'll go, hello, this is Neil. And they'll say, why haven't you come and serviced the machine? And I'm like, who am I talking to? And they're like, XYZ, automotive or whatever. And I'm like, I didn't know I should come over there. Where are you? And they're like, our address is 5578, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, well, you guys moved. You didn't tell me you moved. So sometimes they'll even take the machine and they won't even tell you. They don't care. So that's why I recommend starting off with something that's inexpensive, something that didn't cost you a ton of money, okay? My recommendation is, if you love it, then start buying newer and nicer, items, tools, machines, whatever. And it goes with saws or, tools that you're working with. If you just need to cut a piece of wood, why would you want to go spend $300 on a saw when you could go to a pawn shop and buy it for $50? You see what I'm saying? All right, I hope that helps you with your vending business. Just a little feedback today. I'm working on getting a couple machines out today. I'm going to go out looking for locations. And as I said, in my opinion, there's 3 steps to this job, or 3 parts, A, B, and C. The best part is getting the money. Going around, putting in the candy, taking the money. Number 1. Number 2, finding locations. You've always got to find locations because you're going to always lose locations. People are going to call you and say, hey, the kids are making a mess on the carpeting. come and get your machine, or we're moving, or we're going out of business, come and get your machine. So you will lose locations. So part of the time you want to spend finding more locations, and then part 3, maintaining, cleaning, things like that, scraping off rust, polishing, sanding down the metal parts, repainting, things like that. You're going to have to constantly be working on the cleaning part of it, and the rebuilding and all that. Cleaning, maintaining. Okay, so 1, collecting money, filling up the machines with candy. 2, finding locations. 3, maintaining and cleaning the machines. Now let's talk about number 2. Finding locations is not difficult. What it requires is for you to go out knocking on doors. Just go out, knock on doors. And you want to talk to people that own their own business. You don't want to talk to big corporations like Starbucks or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's or 7-Eleven. You want to talk to people who can give you a yes that moment. Let me re-emphasize that. When you walk in the door and you say, hey, how are you? How are you doing? My name is Neil. I work with this charity. I'd like to know if I could put a vending machine in your store. You want them to say yes immediately. You don't want them to say, well, call my boss, and he'll have to call his boss, and that person will have to call his boss. You don't want that chain of command that someone has to climb up, or that they make you climb up, that they tell you to climb up. Oh, call this guy, and that guy will tell you to call this guy, and that means no. You can call them. They will not say yes. I've tried it. You can go and try it. But let me just say, if you don't get a yes before you walk out the door, that's a no. They can, and people will say, well, here's our car, here's our card, here's our email, send us an email. I've tried this route. If you don't get a yes before you get out the door, that's a no. Okay? And the employee may be really excited. He goes, yeah, I really love this idea. I think my boss will love it too. That is still a no until you hear the words yes. Bring one here, okay? So, if they say no to you, and you will get a lot of people saying no to you, probably 10, if you go out and talk to 10 people, 9 out of 10 will say no to you. And you know what they're saying no to? They're not saying no to you. They're saying no to a machine in their store, okay? They're saying no to candy being dropped on the floor by kids all the time. They're saying no to someone having to clean up and sweep up behind these children who don't know how to, put the quarter in and open the door as the candy comes down. They're, the kids are like, put the quarter in and then open the door, and they're like, what's going on here? And all the candy just comes falling out onto the floor. And that's what they're saying no to. They're saying no to just the mess. They're saying no to this little machine in their store taking up space. All right, I hope this helps you in your vending business. As I said, the reason I love it, you can start with about $150. You don't need $100,000 to start a business. Okay? That's the biggest reason I like this business, besides the money. So, go out, find some locations, buy some machines, make some money. I hope you enjoy these videos. If you like them, give a thumbs up, and if you love them, please subscribe. I always ask you to subscribe, but you've already probably subscribed. I will catch you on another video, and have a good morning, have a good evening, or have a good afternoon.